Okay, looking back to last year, 2012-13, it was a big year for you, Chris. Can you summarise your main successes and achievements leading up to last year's Sports Awards?
I think the main ones for us in the club, and possibly for me as well, was the staging of the first sea race in Swansea, the first sea rowing race in South Wales, really. So that grabbed a lot of attention. I think it made a lot of people sit up and take a bit more notice of the sport, so the fact that it hadn't been around here before. So I think that was the main thing in making the whole thing become more visible. And I was one of the only people anyway with sort of knowledge of the sea road at that point. So it was useful in making everybody else aware of what it could be and giving them experience of how to move on. You know? So I think that was the tipping point of it. So.
In terms of your volunteering, Chris, and developing the sport of rowing in Swansea, how much time do you need to put in to make it a success?
Early on it was a lot. It was a lot. The first year or two was busy. I was probably putting in around about 10-12 hours a week, 14 hours some weeks, depending. But once we built that initial body of people with knowledge of sea rowing, then it became a lot less. To the point where I've got a good team around me now, and they do more than I do. So initially it was busy, but it was worth it. It was just that initial investment as well, the time was investment.
How special was it for you to win Volunteer of the Year?
It was great. I've never received any sort of recognition like that for any sort of sporting endeavours in life. So it was fantastic and a bit surreal, really. But very welcome, and it was chuffed to have it, really, and to mix with the other people who also, rewarded for their efforts. So yeah, great. Really enjoyed it. Yeah.
What have been the standout moments for you for 2014 in terms of rowing in Swansea?
Well, I think certainly from a sea rowing point of view, this year we made some steps in competing further afield. We went down to Plymouth and took 20 plus rowers down there who trained for an event, a large event, which was a great success from a club point of view. And we'll be going back again this year, so that was a big step to get further afield. And also holding another race, a different type of race this year, which we had teams from Canada, Portugal and England racing in it. So they were starting to find out about what we were doing, what we were trying to do, and starting to come into the country. So we bring in this international competition in as well on a community basis. So yeah, they were the big standard points for us.
Do you expect to see in the run-in for awards at this year's event?
From a local point of view, I suppose, I think the standard performance would probably Jazz Carlin with the swimming, and I think Dan Bigger with the rugby has made a huge impact this year. So I expect to see them get some nominations along the line. I think from a community point of view, there's some excellent work going on in cycling locally, which I think is worthy of more recognition.
How important is the Swansea Sports Awards event to you, and why should people nominate their sporting champions?
I think it's incredibly important in that we don't recognise the positive things that we're doing in the area enough, really. So it's very worthwhile. I think it's relatively new and only just sort of creeping into people's consciousness. But what people have to realise is that as a volunteer or a coach, you may be inspiring people or even changing lives of youngsters, and often that goes sort of unrecognised even by the people who are doing it. So you could be doing day-to-day things, and it could really stick in somebody's mind and really turn things around for them. So it's important that we have these awards, for people to know that they're actually doing that, whereas a lot of the time it just goes under the radar.